Hey everyone! I meant to do a monologue to celebrate the crew, but I forgot to put it in the script and completely missed it on the show, so I'm putting it here at the top. To the wonderful SojuTalk crew, Doug, Warren, and Anita, congratulations on 150 episodes. I'm gonna feel some type of way just for a minute. Over the past 3 years, the three of you have been a stable presence in the lives of K-pop fans around the world. You've brought people together with your joyful discussions and infectious personalities. The Discord server has become a home for many, all in celebration of friendship through K-pop. On behalf of the nation, Therese at SojuFan on TikTok, Daniel at Talkshop K-pop, Mina and Bagel at The Dumpster Cast, and Aura, OP, Koala, and myself at the SojuTalk Nation podcast. Thank you, and we're hyped for another 150 episodes to come. Now back to episode 30 of the after show on the SojuTalk Nation. You're listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 30.
On today's episode, we discuss This Week in Music and celebrate episode 150 of the main show.
So sit back and chill with friends. You're listening to the after show with the SojuTalk Nation. Welcome to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, a chill discussion on this week in the SojuTalk Nation. We're recording on Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Crispy, and welcoming back to the show this week, the influencer traveling all over Europe, Koala. Hi, Koala.
All over you. Okay. Exaggerated. Let people think that my life is actually eventful.
You know, you can talk about your travels later on in the show. I'm sure everyone would want to know about all of these extravagant summer vacation adventures that you've been posting mysteriously.
That's like 30 seconds of content, but hey.
I mean, it keeps the mystery, right? I think the less you give us, the more we want to know. So, yeah. All right. Announcements this week. Soju Sessions episode 18 is up on the SojuTalk Nation podcast feed. Kind of interesting timing. So 88 Rising did announce the Head in the Clouds Music Festival last week. I actually had recorded this episode a few weeks ago when BTS and Taeyeon had come back with their songs, and it just so happened to coincide with 88 Rising and the remix of California with Jackson on there. So yeah, check it out. We talk about a couple like really interesting topics about just growing up in California, seeing people of Asian heritage be successful in music, and then kind of like an introduction to BTS and Taeyeon with someone who is completely new to K-pop. So yeah, if you're interested in something like that, definitely check it out, because I had a pretty good time kind of digging in deep on some of those subjects. Like we said at the top, we are celebrating episode 151 in State of the Nation today, so stay tuned. But before that, we are celebrating the nation with birthdays on August 9th. Nina, so wish Nina a happy birthday next week. Send her gifts, send her messages, ping her, celebrate her over on the Discord server. All right. Let's get into this week in SojuTalk Music. We have 3 brand new songs. The first one with Dreamcatcher, Because, Astra with After Midnight, and SOMI with Dumb Dumb. All right. So the crew discussion was actually quite... I don't know. What did you think about the crew discussion this week overall, Koala? Because I felt like it was pretty... it was less spicy than I expected.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. I thought they would like it way more. But maybe that's also because the server is just very Dreamcatcher biased.
Yeah.
So my overall impression of it was just very optimistic.
Yeah, that's a really good point for us, because we spend so much time on the server and we see the simps of Dreamcatcher, very much enjoying their music and rightfully so celebrating everything that's unique about them with their sound. So to me, I'm already thinking that the crew is going to either extremely love it or like spend the same inordinate amount of time simping over all the members. But they didn't. They kind of reined it in. What did you think about kind of the differing opinions about Dreamcatcher? So Doug, typically kind of likes a wide genre of music and likes Dreamcatcher specifically because they're a little bit more different with kind of the rock electric guitar sound. But Warren and Anita kind of landed on Odd Eye being the comparison. Warren preferred Odd Eye. Oh no, Warren preferred this song because
Warren shit talked Odd Eye.
All right, well, let's go into why. What did you think about when Warren was not feeling so great about Odd Eye, but likes this song a lot more?
I don't remember Odd Eye. I also just very little remember this song. My feelings for Dreamcatcher, it's neutral. I don't really. It's not on my view. It's not on my radar.
Let's be real. I think you and Warren align far more about Dreamcatcher than you give yourself credit, and I mean that in every kind of way. Where I think Dreamcatcher does a really nice job being unique. They definitely have a gothic vibe to them, but musically, it's hit and miss. At least for me, I like them as a group, but as music, it's not something I go back to quite often, and I feel like you're the same way. Would you agree?
Yes, I do think it's quite interesting that they stuck to their concept, even though it is a summer album. I think it has something with summer in the name. I could be wrong. So it is quite. I think it is quite a good thing for the fans at least, because it is a very distinct sound. And if you're a fan of Dreamcatcher, you would probably hope for that sound to maintain in the near future. The MV it's kind of creepy with the lyrics, not gonna lie, just like Doug and Warren said. It's very much talking about obsessiveness and abusive love, and the whole vibe of it with that carnival image, as Doug already mentioned. Just adding something to it. And I think I watched it multiple times, and there's like that theme of just masks, doppelgangers, like that those mirrored choreography theme scenes in like the chorus, and also just in the choreo itself, like some mannequin gestures. It's just really interesting, and also the lyrics into an overall story with like the line, "With the face of an angel, I'll tell you I love you." So like that double-faced kind of person being abusive whatsoever. And also like at the end where I think they are standing outside of the hotel, kind of like, or inside, and kind of like checking out. And if you like listen to the last second, there's a very creepy laugh. I don't know who it is, but it just fits the overall topic, I would say. So I like the MV. I don't remember their past MVs. I don't think I've ever watched them, to be honest. But I like this one. I also like the fashion. It suited the song very well.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack with what you said, because I think you hit on a lot of topics that they mentioned on the main show, and I kind of want to focus on like the theming and the concept. So like the mirrored images. I think the one that stood out to me the most is the floor and ceiling, where you kind of see like the mirrored top down of two different outfits. I think similar outfits but different colored, and that being like an inversion, and kind of like you said, like this obsessive nature of like love, and like they mentioned on the show like being possessive. I don't know the lore for Dreamcatcher. I think there is something that has to do with lore with this, but I also think like it's very spooky, and they mentioned it on the show. Hotel de Luna, definitely see it. Definitely see the inspiration there. And if you've seen the show, you kind of understand that IU's character it is a little she likes to hang on to things, and the story of Hotel de Luna is spirits moving into the afterlife, and what does it mean to hold on, right? So I think a lot of that actually like plays into Dreamcatcher, and it's consistent with who they are as a group, right? With a lot of the musical choices and visually, through all the music videos they've had in the past. You also mentioned a few things about um, their outfits. What was it about the outfits that stood out to you the most, Koala?
Uh, So for not especially the outfits, but that weird face thingy they had on in some scenes. I don't know how you call that. I think Dummy was wearing it in her rap section. How do you call that? It was like it's not a mask. It's weird. I don't know whether I like it.
I can describe it better, but at the same time, I don't think that's like very good. A very good way to visualize it. If you've seen the music video, you know what it looks like. And I think it just plays into like the gothic theming and gothic like styling, right? Yeah, no, it's one of those music videos where like it's definitely the theatric, and there's just a lot of like imagery. I think with Dreamcatcher, they don't necessarily abide by like seasonal songs, because the song and music video and concept definitely can be released at any point in the year. Where I don't think they were thinking summer at all. They probably were thinking like, we're just gonna do something that we do really well. So they made a good point on the show about accessibility of their music, where they are definitely playing to the crowd, their niche fans, right? And I don't have these numbers, but I do feel like Dreamcatcher does really well because they have a strong fandom.
Yep.
And well, I just wanted your opinion on this. So like, do you feel like that is to their benefit, that they're just mainly focused on like their fans who are with them, as opposed to trying to reach a general audience?
I would say yes, because they are also the only group that is doing that kind of rock thing, gothic concept, I think for girl groups at least. And the market for every other concept is so wide, and I'm sure they could probably pull it off, but now that that they have established their sound like that, and the fandom is also just crazy loving them for that sound in specific, and I can see them change it up once, but not like for the future, and like for all of the other songs that they would that would come after that. I don't know. I also think that just that the reason why they got popular is because they were different. I don't know, because the company is named Dreamcatcher Company, right? I don't think they are really that big to begin with. So I would say they would just stick to their concept. They're not doing bad. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah, and I think sticking with what works is important, especially with something that's so unique and different from the other girl groups that are promoting right now. Especially with this sound, I think it's so distinctly Dreamcatcher, right? Like, you know it immediately, and I think it bodes really well for them, especially with their fans, especially internationally, because I do think international fans are more receptive of this type of sound, because it does feel like it's similar to like anime or like any other types of pop culture that are in this vein. So, Dreamcatcher, keep doing you, because I think, you got something that's working. Don't fix it if it's not broken, kind of thing. All right. Any closing thoughts about Dreamcatcher or the crew's discussion this week?
I do like the MV a lot, so I would probably go back to the past releases, because also it's about that obsessive love as we talked about, but I looked into it, and also the name, because you see the B and E is capitalized. That's because of the hanja B, that means sadness. So if you add that into like the lyrics, and like the song says, because I like you, so sadness, cause I like you. It's just really interesting how they directed this, and the whole meaning of this. Just really nice.
Yeah, a lot of very powerful emotions, and kind of a lot of the tough sadness of what love might entail with a darker approach to romance. But let's move on now to something that is not very dark. That's something that's very bright and summery. We have Astro with After Midnight. I kind of dug this song. It's very disco, very bright, very fun and youthful. You really like this song. Koala, tell me why you like this song and what did you feel about watching this music video and hearing this song?
Because it's finally not dark anymore. I didn't enjoy Astro's past releases. Like, I still like Blue Flame, but from that on, so Knock Knock, One, and even that weird duo with Moonbin and Sana, I believe, didn't hit it for me. And I used to like listen to all of the B-sides, but in that past year when they did that dark theme, I did not do that at all. But this is going back to that, and I think they also said it in their interviews that they want to represent themselves as like extreme refreshing sound and a band. And I think I don't know whether they exactly mean to stick to this sound that's more youthful, or whether they just want to switch their sounds up as much as possible, because refreshing can be like interpreted in multiple ways. But I do like the way that they're taking this. And after all, they are already, I think, 6 or 5 years old. I think they also said that this mini album in specific is like more a gift to themselves than to their fans, because they are looking back into their career and also looking into the future. If you look at the lyrics, especially like Footprint, one of the B-sides of theirs, you can especially tell it in that song.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out Anita for bringing that up, where this song does feel like a throwback to their debut. Because I think once a group kind of establishes one concept or genre that they're really good at, or at least they've consistently done over a number of comebacks, which is like the dark, edgy, moody boy group, it's kind of nice to switch things up and remind people of a concept that they are familiar with, that they can very much accomplish and achieve. Yeah, I think, like you said, like the time that Astro has existed, it's one of those where they're doing music for themselves as a celebration. And I think also with the fans in mind, I think honestly, fans kind of like the switch up and to go back into something familiar. But what did you think about kind of the crew going into a little bit more detail about the song not really having sticking power compared to kind of the other songs in this vein this summer?
I think I've said it somewhere before, but Astro songs usually take a while to stick, at least for me. So it wasn't really something new to me. It always takes me a couple of listens to get into that song, and at some point I will just remember it. Because I also thought it wasn't that memorable on first and second listen, but now I clearly remember like the hook and the first verses. So I can see why it's not memorable, but sometimes you also don't need something that's really catchy, but just something that you vibe with in the background, working on some stuff.
Yeah, and I think it was nice that the crew called out that this is seemingly the answer to the fun, light girl group songs of the summer. Everything from Oh My Girl and For Almost Nine and Rocket Punch. This is kind of like the boy group version. And to me, who doesn't listen to very many boy groups, I think this goes really well. I think I can throw this right on a playlist with all those other girl groups, and it flows very seamlessly. Oh yes, and Warren with his analogy about baby butts and being smooth. I legitimately did not know where he was going with that, and it kind of like thankfully at the end it made a little bit more sense, because then he talked about the song and the music video being smooth. But I didn't need that visual, Warren. Like I'm good. And then, did it feel like Warren was trolling Anita a little bit more in this episode than usual?
I love the dynamics.
Yeah, because Anita was like trying to give like some creative notes of certain aspects of like this song and some other songs. And Warren straight up said like, Anita hates colors. And just like, what? What is happening? But I will say, I think those are the moments of the show that really catch my attention, and I do appreciate that it, you know, adds color. God, I hate myself so much. I hate myself so much. I tried to stop, and yet I just had to go. I just kept going. Anyways, yeah, very fun summer song. Oh, I made a couple notes about the story about the music video, and it did kind of feel like it was a going back to school outfit with a lot of the school supplies and this idea of kind of waking up to like the last days of summer. I don't know if maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it did feel like there was like a last summer celebration, last summer party before, you know, you head back to school and you know, do life stuff. I feel like you can definitely relate to this, right, Koala?
Oh God, I hate it.
Considering you are going back to school very soon, and it feels like you didn't do anything this summer because you were in a very specific circumstance that prevented you from doing something, from doing fun things. But you know what? Right now you're traveling, and you're doing influencer stuff. So I mean, if anything, you know, you're kind of an idol, like Astro right now. Very cool.
I do want to know what that weird like time thing on their arms and wrists was, and that battery sign, because I don't really get it. I was like, oh, vibrant colors, nice. Oh, okay, outfit choices. I don't agree with that, but I just vibe with it. But then they just pull out their arm, and then there's a weird android-looking thing engraved there. I didn't quite get that part.
It's probably lore. It's probably a lore that I will.
Does Astro have lore? I've been listening to them for a long time. Do they have lore?
I don't. You tell me. I'm just here. I don't know lore. Remember?
That being said, their mini album is called Switch On, and they have a Switch On and Switch Off version. So it's quite interesting. Maybe that's a representation of what they are capable of with the light concepts and the dark concepts.
You see, some little bit of lore hinting, light and dark concept. You know, maybe there's two Astros.
Oh, don't do this. I believe they don't have lore. Don't do this.
All right, well, that's enough clowning for this song. Yeah, no, I think overall really nice entry into the summer playlist 2021 edition of various light summer fun songs. Yeah, and I do think it does kind of stick out in the sense that this but this seems like one of the stronger entries for like boy groups to be represented in that sense. Oh yeah. All right, let's move on to the final song of the week. We have the wonderful, charismatic, very funny human being SOMI with Dum Dum. Koala, start it off. What did you think? How'd you feel? You know, you and I both like SOMI. Do you feel like this kind of fit what we know about SOMI as a character?
Very quirky. Fitting. Like, oh God, that storyline, oh, awkward. Just awkward approach, SOMI. Please don't do that in real life. But like, I like the vibe of it. I also need to say she kind of looks fire in that blonde color for her hair.
Yes, I kind of love it. It's working for me.
I normally don't like blonde hair, but she's rocking it.
It kind of works really well. I'm just like, damn girl, you look good. That's cool. Well, since we're on like the exterior of it all, what did you think about the outfits? And well, so it's very clear that there's like outfits that, you know, you could probably see in a high teen movie, and there's very clearly costumes that are just costumes. So what did you think about the overall fashion styling of this music video?
She looked very cute. I like. Also, she talked about how she lost a lot of weight. I think she said like, "Oh God, we're at kilograms right now. Oh, what is that in pounds? Wait, let me."
It's fine. We can convert. us Americans over here need to be challenged occasionally.
46.6 kilograms is 102 pounds.
Yikes!
She's oh god, meters in fuck, I hate it. Meters to feet. She is 172. She's 5'6", is that right? 5'7"?
Yeah, she's quite tall. She's like 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I think she pulls off a lot of the outfits like really well, and I think it does fit in the fact that she is a multicultural, and she does have a little bit more Western lean in a lot of the things that she does, which is great. I do actually feel like if there was one distinct thing about SoMi that I can say, even though I kind of agree with the crew that we don't have that yet, that it's this, where it's very Western friendly, and I feel like they probably could and should lean into high teen more. Because like they said, if you reference Mean Girls even just a little bit, everyone loves it. And I did get some Mean Girl vibes, but I also got a couple like more contemporary high school movies. Like it did very much feel like a modern high school movie. And then the reference to Carrie with kind of like the murderous like blood splatters everywhere. That was kind of cool. So when I was watching the music video, I'm trying to like piece together the story. And for me, the inconsistent timelines that the crew was talking about, I read that as she's daydreaming about scenarios where, in one instance, she is, imagining how it would perfectly play out, and then in real life, she's just hella awkward and just like messing up everything. And then also like kind of the exaggerated side of things, where it's like she imagines that the prom or the dance is like this shit show where it's like her wings are falling apart and nothing's going right, and then she has to be on stage and be like really awkward, but then in reality it's actually less so, and she is kind of like getting what she wants. She's getting the guy. But also I understand it's not very clear because I watched it a couple times and I tried to read into it. I'm just like, yeah, that's not very clear. I don't really know when things are happening, but I feel like that's kind of the story. What did you think about kind of like using a lot of different inspirations from like the high teen concept, and then also including like some webtoon animation in there?
I was very confused over also that one scene with the dude's head when she was standing. I did not know what direction this was taking. I already like expected some webtoonish references, but I didn't think they would put a whole lot of panels in there, because she did have like a teaser pic, I think, which was just a drawing of her and a dude, I believe. But like the last 10 seconds were just panels, and I don't think I paused to read them, but it kind of felt like that whole candid love and just high school sweethearts thing, where it's just all in imagination, like written in a story. So, yeah. I think she herself mentioned that the song also was supposed to just reference like that candid love, and then the switch of the drop was to show that it's not like that, and she has like the power of everything, and she's able to control it. I don't know. Just skimmed through the article.
Yeah, I tried to like get a little bit more information about like the inspiration and like the story behind like the song and music video. It does feel like the interviews and things coming out right now are very surface level accessible, right? I don't feel like there's anything super deep about the way that they're talking about it, which like I can understand like that's not necessarily what like the general audience wants about like this academic analysis about like why she created this art piece. But it would have been nice to get a little bit more clarity on why certain things played out the way they did. And if I have a criticism, I do think that falls on the creative team to have a more clear message about the storytelling you're trying to do, especially with the song that is less than 3 minutes. Like you have to kind of
it's not even 2.5. That was kind of shocking.
You gotta be
to
concise.
See on Spotify.
Yeah. I mean, the song's very fun. There's a lot of elements to it, but with a song that short, you have to like really, really nail down what you want to message out in your music video visually. And I felt like they wanted to do a lot. They tried to do a lot, and then you get lost in the sauce, as Doug would put it. All right, let's go to the song a little bit. I do want to point out and shout out JoCab on the server. He compared this a little bit to Next Level by aespa in the sense that there are a number of switch ups in genre, and like the rap section does feel a little bit disconnected, but it worked in a way. Did you feel the same way? And how did you feel about like the different sounds that you heard in the song?
I didn't think like that too much. Maybe because it was so short, and I didn't really register the different genres. I did think that it was odd that she was rapping, but it kind of fit into like the whole theme. The drop itself, well, I don't know. I still don't know whether I love it. I do like the whistle part, though, but there's one other weird sound that I really don't like in the background. That's like really, really prominent when you're listening to the song. I don't know how to call it. I'm really bad at that technical stuff.
It's all right. That's what we have Warren for. Um, but I'm very grateful, Warren. That was not a sarcastic comment, but I think they kind of said it on the show a little bit, where they kind of broke down each section and how, like they said, the chorus drop felt very generic of like Whistle or like any other like Blackpink song, right? Or like a song within like the YG like sound, where the first part of the song is like, oh, this is very light and kind of different. And I feel like I've said this like a million times, but like high teen, like that high teen like Western concept. But yeah, I think I think they did try to do a lot, and I don't know if that's just a result of SoMi just not having very many songs over the past 3 years, and that they decided to like take a lot of different ideas for songs and put them all into one song. That's just me speculating. But, you know, hopefully she gets something a little bit more in this vein, because I agree with the crew. Very fun. Shows a lot of potential. SoMi, let's get a little bit more. Come on. Black Label, Teddy, the boss. Can we get a little bit more? I don't have as strong of feelings as like the general K-pop audience to like SoMi, because I think she's just doing fine. But again, it just would be nice if she had a little bit more of a musical creativity as opposed to everything else that she does. All right, any closing thoughts on SoMi and the crew's discussion this week, Koala?
I do wonder where her place will be once Baby Monster, so the new YG group, will eventually sometime debut. Because if they get put into Teddy's hand again, where is SoMi then with their sound? then you have like 3 artists that kind of have the same sound, and then SoMi will probably be the smallest out of the 3. So kind of concerning, but also not. She herself said she doesn't want to have a specific sound yet, because what was the wording? She wants to be like a rainbow or something like that. But it's in the
such
lookout.
a SoMi thing to say. Oh my god, like my brain.
But like, it is not impossible that Baby Monster will be put into Teddy's hands again. So I would be expecting a similar sound. For SoMi, I don't know what that means. She said she will be having more songs this year. I don't know how truthful that is. But yeah.
You know what? For me, I'm going to follow it as little as possible, because ignorance is bliss. And, you know, if something pops off this year, if SoMi has another song, I will be excited because I didn't follow the lead up. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, you make a good point about Baby Monster potentially debuting next year. And what does that mean for perhaps maybe too similar of a sound between a lot of their big acts? But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm more optimistic, but I'm just an optimistic person in general when it comes to music. Yeah, and I don't really look too much into it yet, but I can see the concern. And yeah, SoMi, we just want more music, please. Even if it's the same, just more songs. Like, I'm good with that. All right. All right, let's move on now to Spice King this week. The Soju chart for episode 150, there are a couple of new parameters. The crew mentioned it on the main show. We're not going to go into too much detail, but we will say that the homies, the Herald homies, do have a more distinct, specific role now in the voting, where we give our list of top songs, and then the votes are counted similarly to the main show, and then it's ranked for us, and then those are our contributions, which I think is kind of nice. It's a nice inclusion. Doug did preface that there will be zero tolerance for vote manipulation. I will apologize for making that a vote manipulation attempt and joke earlier in the year. I was really doing that to clown. I apologize, Doug. So I will no longer be doing that. I will delete my spreadsheet now. So, yeah. So the chart came out kind of interesting. Let's just go through it. So at number 3, we had Astro with After Midnight. Oh, actually no, we had tied for second. So let's start over. Tied for second, we had Astro with After Midnight and SoMi with Dum Dum. Then at number 1, we had Dreamcatcher with Because. All right, so the crew had a lot of varying opinions on how they set up their 3 songs. I know the nation, the homies, were very much leaning towards Dreamcatcher. High five, Koala. You and I were the Akmu representatives with Ainini. What did you think about how the chart turned out this week?
You can already tell that first place votes are very, very much more significant now, because Doug and the homies put it in first, Dreamcatcher's song, and Anita and Warren didn't even put it in on any place. So getting your the first place of like 2 entities is already like pretty much a winning guarantee.
Do you feel like 1, 3, and 5 is too large of a disparity between or too large of a weight between like the votes?
I don't know.
It kind of feels like it's too large, but I don't know.
But like at the same time, 3, 2, 1 was too little.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe 4, 2, 1. No, that's also not good.
Well, what about 5, 3, 2?
Let's talk about this once we reach 200.
Yeah. Well, I just want to put it out there because I know Warren does listen, and I just want to at least have it somewhere in the universe that it does kind of feel like 1 is a little bit too strong, a little too overpowered. And I think maybe the balance is actually letting 3 have a little bit more say by having it be 5, 3, 2. But that's just something I'm thinking about. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's literally just the first week of it, coming to pass. If we start to see a pattern of it being a little bit too weighted, I'm sure they'll assess the situation and adjust accordingly. But yeah, just that's how I kind of see it. It's like perhaps maybe a different weight on the other end of it to balance it out. Yeah, but I think this weighting system makes a lot more sense as far as creating a more established chart week to week. And then also, if there's an all kill, that counts as 2, allowing it to enter the Hall of Spice sooner, and then giving space for other songs in the following weeks. So I think that's a couple of really good changes. Great job, crew. All right. Any closing thoughts on the Soju chart? Spice King this week.
I thought it was interesting how much more Anita and Warren especially liked Astro's song.
I agree.
Warren put it in first, right? It's
yeah, I think that was interesting because, it feels like Warren has been all about the angst this year. And, this song the Astra song is very much the opposite of angst. But, good song overall. I think it's a good representative of just the boy groups for this week. I think, other boy groups with similar sounds. I don't even know what I'm going to say, where I was going with that. But yes, it was nice to see a boy group make it onto the chart. But I think it's all 3 new songs. So, all 3 new songs having some place on the chart this week was a nice result of all of the new changes. All right, so yeah, that does it for the Soju chart this week. This week in Soju Talk Music. Let us know what you think. Comment section on the Soju Talk Discord. We have the Soju Talk channel. That is where a conversation pops off. So yeah, let everyone know how you're feeling. All right, let's move on now to I guess the second half of the show this week. Let's a couple things. So it's the new season.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool that they're doing a couple changes. So we have a couple changes to the intro music, which is still in the same vein as like the track from last year, but there's a little bit more to it, right? Like how would you describe it, Koala?
Oh, I'm really bad at that, Crispy. Don't do that to me.
The only word that comes to mind is it vibes a little bit more. Does that even make sense? I don't know, but it does feel like it, right? Like there's a little bit extra to it. And in the intermission section, that's a different song, right? I'm not crazy.
I think so. Could be the same. I don't.
I'm pretty sure it's a
Now
different
that
song.
I think about it,
right?
it should. Oh God.
Well,
We're a mess.
Well, it's a different. So I'm just gonna assume it's a different song. It's got a lo-fi feel to it. I love lo-fi music. That's my jam. That's my stuff. That's my shit. You know. Yeah. So I was digging it. I was just like, oh, can the intermission be super long? Could it be like a 10-minute intermission? I just want the song on loop. So yeah, thanks, Warren. If you have that piece of music, I would like to listen to it. All right. So with news and events this week, they changed things up. So they're just gonna have 3 main topics moving forward. Each member of the crew will pick out something that they want to talk about. If there was a big announcement or a big piece of news, then they will all collectively also include that into the 3 topics of the week. And I think this is nice because, again, well, not again, but it kind of wraps into the later discussion about Doug doing something he cares about and creating content and being in this podcasting world talking about things that you like. And I think this is a nice way to showcase and highlight each member of the crew with something that stood out to them week to week. Any news topics that stood out to you this week from the crew's conversation?
I don't think so. No, not really.
I do want to shout out that the Philippines is a place where K-pop is very much loved and appreciated. I will tell you that 100%. I got cousins and family members that love K-pop, and it's just one of those things where they love everything about it. K-pop and K-dramas. I would say like this is all just like for my family, but for some reason I can always connect with them about K-pop and Korean entertainment. Even though I don't see them for a couple years, they come visit or I go to the Philippines. That's what we talk about. Yeah, so definitely shout out to Doug for bringing up that news article. Anita talked about SNSD, Girls' Generation with a bit of a reunion, and then Warren with a little bit of Red Velvet, which I'm super excited for. It's a lot of SM talk. Oh, and also they kind of snuck in ASAP as being the better song from the Gen 4 girl groups. You know, sorry, I had something in my throat. I'm going to drink some coffee. But
I hate you.
I think it's interesting that conversation continues till this day. Weeks pass since that survey on TikTok.
Just wait at the year wrap up when they will still talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot button topic and people are just going to rage about it everywhere. And you know what? I'm just going to sit back and drink this coffee and enjoy it from afar. That being said, I stand Stacy, so that's where I stand. Cool. All right, let's move on to State of the Nation. Just a quick summary of what the crew talked about this week. It was a nice opening up about everything that they've accomplished, kind of the things that have changed over the years, and then how they've felt about creating K-pop content and doing things on YouTube and to podcast platforms. I thought it was really nice. I thought it was just a nice peek into kind of their lives, their thought process, and their feelings toward everything. Koala, was there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you reflected on as the crew kind of opened up about their thoughts and feelings about doing the show?
The shout out was sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, so near the end of the conversation, they kind of talked about the community shows, all the different stuff that we do between the Soju Talk Nation podcast, Soju Fan on TikTok. Thank you, Therese, and the Dumpster Cast, Mina, Bagel, Max, Joe Cab. I think those are the regulars so far. Yes, so they did go into detail about our little hangout a couple weeks ago. So we had a video call session where we just touched base and we kind of talked about the direction of the shows and kind of lined up on certain things, and it was really nice. Yeah, shout out to the crew for shouting us out because we were touched. We just wanted to connect with the crew to see like where they were at and kind of get their thoughts on like what we were doing, and it was just really a really nice back and forth and a chance to hang out with them. So yeah, definitely appreciate them for that. I think it was cool that Doug opened up a little bit about the numbers, and that it's interesting, right? Because I think initially you have that excitement about like wanting to create content and like be successful on YouTube or podcast or through like the podcast platforms, and then like you set in that realization of like, well, real life is a thing too, and is this something sustainable, or is this something I want to do for fun? And like, where do you find that emotional balance of keeping it fun and doing what you like, but then also kind of being aware about like the external factors around you? And I think they came to a really nice landing place about they don't want to make content solely based on social media comment section or just like offending people, right? They kind of just want to be casual about it, and they're open to criticism. However, if you're a troll, get the fuck out. And I'm good with that. I am good with that. What did you think about Doug kind of opening up about the numbers and kind of his aspirations to continue on with the show?
It's kind of like amazing to like hear the numbers again, because 500,000, that's a ton. That's really a lot. You might not see it on YouTube because I think most of us listen to it on like Spotify or something like that. But 500,000, damn, over like the past 3 years, that's a lot. That's like an accomplishment to be proud of.
100%. And I agree with like there's a big discrepancy between YouTube numbers and podcast numbers. Podcast numbers are a little unclear, nebulous as to what they truly represent. YouTube numbers, there's so many analytics when you open up your YouTube channel, but I also feel like there's a disconnect with people listening to a piece of entertainment that is primarily audio and then having a video component be a supplement to what's happening, right? Yeah, and I think they do kind of amazing numbers with zero ads, backed by zero like corporate sponsorships, which is kind of amazing. And I think them coming to a solution of like low effort content like through Twitch streaming, I think that's pretty cool because it does add a little extra to what they do. It gives them more space to talk about things more casually, and ultimately it brings them together. They get to hang out a little bit more with us. You were there on Friday, right? When they did the Twitch stream.
Yes, and I fell asleep like 10 minutes before it ended, I think.
Yeah, it started at 4 p.m. Pacific. 7
It was like
p.m.
1 a.m. for me, I believe.
Yeah, so that's a thing for other time zones. But I will say the highlight was, they did the Eyes One thing. They had the Fruit World Cup. But the true highlight, I think you know where I'm going with this, was being drunk in the chat.
Oh, God.
I sufficiently consumed 2 bottles of soju during that time. I think that was excellent. Joe Cab, I think, was drunk for 14 hours. I don't remember who else was drinking.
Do we just need like a drunk cam soon? Like in the corner just to check up on y'all?
I don't know if that would be good or bad. Unclear. Therese was drinking wine that she didn't like, but you do what you can to feel a kind of way, and I commend her efforts there. But yeah, I think it also goes to show like the reach that Doug and Warren and Anita have, and I think it speaks to kind of like their other point later on in that conversation about Discord being not just a place of listeners, but a place where they kind of have found friends and found like a family and community where we just hang out. With kind of the advice that they said about like having so many channels and so many different topics of interest, do you feel like that you've navigated it in a way where you specifically have places that you go to that you paid the most attention to, similarly to Doug and Warren? Which channels are those, Koala?
KTV, Sim, Fashion, Kings, News? Yes? SojuTalk Talk? I'm trying to think. I think that these are the main ones.
You don't have it just open right now? I have it open right now.
Which one?
All right, so I'm in Soju content just to kind of peek in to see what's happening. I am in K-Pix and Simp, which essentially are the same channel, where it's just posting photos of your favorites. The Midzy channel, it's a secret channel, only accessible if you have the Itsy bias role, and I go there and I pop off every now and then with photos. And then I'm in food, the newly added Soju Bar channel. Thank you, Doug, Warren, and Anita, for adding that for all the alcoholics on the server. The health and fitness channel. Recently, we've begun to post our photos or screenshots of our daily steps. And I feel like that's a really low effort, nice way to like encourage everyone to just be active. It's kind of looking at like 10,000 steps a day is a nice like baseline for everyone. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower. I think everyone has done a nice job of like using that as a baseline and really going above and beyond and making a conscious effort to take extra walks throughout the day, because I think even like a 30-minute to an hour walk like does a lot for like health and wellness.
Yeah, a lot too healthy for me. Ugh.
A 30-minute walk is literally a walk around like the corner, like in the neighborhood.
I don't like people in my town, okay? I'm not going outside.
I mean, we have a pandemic. You can wear a hat and a mask to cover your face. I mean, that's a thing.
Nah, I'm not going outside here.
Come on, join us. 10,000 steps a day. It's like an hour walk, I think. Is that what that like equates to? An hour and a half walk, depending on like your pace. Come on. All right. But
you are the healthy person, not me.
Yeah, whatever. I try. I'm in sports occasionally, so that's where Doug resides a lot. It's kind of cool to see Doug's takes there, because Doug's takes are very quick and hilarious, so I appreciate that. And the server itself has added a new feature, creating threads for different topics. At first, I was hesitant. I wasn't really sure how that was going to work, and now like using it more, especially for the sports section, it's kind of great. It kind of subcategorizes specific conversations away from like the main like threads, and then you can kind of just go into that to talk about whatever topic it is that day. Currently, it is the NBA free agency for this summer. And the fashion channel, I don't go there very often. Koala, you go there.
Yes.
Can you tell us more?
Not a lot to tell. Warren, me, Ara, and Nick, I think, talked about an outfit thread. Let's see where it goes. I'm not going outside right now, so I don't have any outfits to post. But hey, someone will eventually go outside, and if not, I can unarchive it again because I have the power to do so.
You know, you say that, and yet you are the one posting the most outfit selfies of anyone in that channel.
I don't call it outfits. I'm in my sweatpants.
I don't know. It looks like you're taking those influencer photos. It's like, oh, look at me, totally not trying, just putting on these casual sweatpants for the day. That's what it feels like. And you know what? Very in line. You are the true influencer, after all.
I hate it here.
Um, yeah, so kind of like wrapping up the State of the Nation this week, I think it was really nice that the crew opened up about, the direction of the show, kind of the past of the show, and how everything's evolved and changed. Shout out to Doug's mom for the balloons. We got them a gift. Can you elaborate on that gift, Koala? I'll let you talk about the gift a bit.
It's like CDs, like 3 CDs, and like, how do you call it? It's not a wrapper. It's how do you call that case? Is it just a case? Do you help English?
I think no, it was just a case. Yeah.
And
they were CDs. I thought they were vinyls, but I don't remember.
They are CDs in like the look of vinyls.
Got it. Okay. Because I as when Doug was talking about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure they're CDs, but I could be wrong.
And yeah, I don't remember which song exactly is on them, but there's some. I think it's the intro song. Looking back at it, Doug saying we could have put messages on it. That sounds way better and like more personal. But hey, just stuff happens.
Let's talk about that for a second. So, were you like dying and laughing at like while that was happening?
I was like, oh no, now they are excited. Oh no.
Yeah, you know what? I think there is a natural comedy to the fact that their expectations were like one way, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's just songs that happen from the show.
I was like, okay, maybe personal messages would have been a good. Oh no, now they are expecting. Oh well, maybe the song is better to listen to than our voices.
Yeah, I mean that's a natural bit of clowning that like I feel like is consistent with everyone on the server. So that's
Doug just got his expectations crushed twice because he was first expecting baking goods and now he's expecting our messages. God damn it.
Just Doug feeling the kind of way with not getting what he wants, but that's life, Doug. You just get disappointed left and right. but seriously, I think that moment on the show was really sweet and sincere. It kind of looked like Doug and Warren were about to cry.
Warren was about to shed a tear.
Warren was about to feel some type of way. I don't think Doug has that type of emotion from the last time I talked to him. I could be wrong.
I think they both said for the last time, so season 3 beginning, that they both cried.
Oh, okay, then I'm wrong. I think maybe it's about K-dramas.
I vividly remember Warren saying it, and I also think Doug said it, but I could be wrong with that part. But I'm pretty sure with Warren.
Yeah, Warren, yes, for sure. Warren is in his feels a lot more, but it was very sweet and sincere. I think the reaction was just very, nice. And I feel like that was a good moment for anyone who wants and needs hope in the world, because times are tough, and I think it's nice to have people to lean on and feel good things about. Any closing thoughts about State of the Nation this week, Koala?
I don't think so.
You know what? We have a little bit of time for our weekly check-in, so we're just gonna do a quick. How are you? Where's life headed to? For me, last month was kind of tricky. Birthday, existential crisis. It is
getting
August.
Old.
Yes, I'm firmly in my 90s now, if any of you were curious. But I feel like this month is an opportunity for so much more. And I actually accomplished a lot more last month than I realized. So, yeah, I think I'm very optimistic as to August and coming to an end, summer coming to an end. Koala, what's your influencer life look like moving forward?
I don't have a lot to do. We are planning a trip in school in like September. I don't know. I still need to choose which one I join. But it's all just in Germany because of the pandemic. Next week, Oh, it's Treasure's anniversary soon, so I get a lot of special content. I'm very excited because I don't have money to spend on for the other content that they are producing. Why is there so much merch? Why? Just stop it. I really can't afford it.
Life of a simp, right? Just, don't have enough money to simp. Understandable.
Yeah. The thing is, now that Blackpink is on Weverse, they will also have like global membership thing. I don't have money. Stop it. No.
Well, they're not gonna stop it. That's the unfortunate part. It's just gonna keep going, It's just the thing.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you resolve that somehow. I don't know how. You know, when Doug opens his streamer house in California.
Let's go.
Well, Warren did say California. Let me give you a tip, Warren. The hot spot right now is Nevada because there is no income tax. Property is way cheaper. So if you did want to get a streamer house, like a pretty large streamer house with considerable space for the SojuTalk network of content, we could all live there and have different rooms set up for different recording booths. Yeah, and then you can import this German over to Nevada and have her work off her debt to buy treasure stuff.
That sounds like all the streamers in Germany moving like onto an island of Portugal because the taxes are non-existent there.
When you say moving to an island, it sounds so much more like lavish and just like
it's an island though. It's Madeira in Germany. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Madeira, something.
I'll take your word for it. Sounds good.
It's like on the northern coast of Africa, like southwest.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are all going there because no taxes.
Nice. See, we could do that in America. I think maybe, I don't know. Warren, we'll plan. We'll get that going. I promise. All right.
That's cool.
I think that's a good place to stop for the week. Thank you for listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 30.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or your preferred podcast platform, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord.
This has been the SojuTalk Nation for Koala. This is Crispy. Bye.
Bye.